My family stole $9,000 from me, so I took everything back. They abandoned Grandma for a cruise. I made them regret it. I came back home for Christmas. The place was empty, except for Grandma, quietly working through some leftovers. There was a note on the counter. Spent your $9,000 loan on a family cruise. Take care of her. Grandma looked up and said, "We'll fix this." I didn't say anything, just nodded. 5 days passed before I even heard from them. I didn't bother knocking. It was still my parents' place. Hell, I practically paid for it. I was supposed to be home for Christmas, like I promised. Like I always did. But when I pushed the door open, that warm holiday feeling I was expecting? Gone. Sure, the tree was lit. The plastic star on top blinked like it felt bad about the whole thing. But the silence in the house was thick. No laughter. No wrapping paper sounds. Not a whiff of cinnamon or burnt cookies in the air. Just the faint clink of a fork on a plate. "Hello?" I called out, stepping inside, careful. "In here, sweetheart," came a soft, worn-out voice from the kitchen. I turned the corner, and there she was, Grandma, sitting alone at the table in her purple knitted sweater, picking at cold stuffing and some half-eaten ham. I blinked. "Where's everyone?" She didn't say anything at first. Just gave me a sad little smile and slid a folded-up note across the table. Her hands were shaking. I picked it up. Not even an envelope. Just a torn piece of notebook paper with my name scribbled on it in black ink. "Spent your $9,000 loan on a family cruise. Sorry. Take care of Grandma while we're gone. Love, Mom." I just stared. Couldn't even speak. My brain got stuck somewhere between loan and cruise. That money was for my dental surgery. I'd spent over a year saving it up. Grandma watched me like someone carefully crossing a field full of landmines, quiet, but alert. "I guess they figured you wouldn't mind," she said softly, folding a napkin in her lap. "They left yesterday." I sat down hard. The chair felt colder than the air in the room. No warning. No phone call. They just took the money and left her here. I whispered, "They just left you?" She gave a dry, tired laugh. "Oh, honey. You know they only call when they want something." I nodded slowly. My hands clenched under the table. This wasn't new. It was just louder this time. Grandma took a small sip of orange juice, looked me straight in the eye, and said, "We'll fix this." I didn't respond, but something inside me cracked, and in its place, something colder started to grow. That night, Grandma went to bed early. Said her hips couldn't handle much more waiting around. She kissed my cheek, patted my arm, and whispered, "You were always the only one who stayed kind." Then she shuffled away, limping the same limp she got 2 winters ago when she fell down the stairs. No one ever took her to rehab for it. I sat alone in that house for hours. No TV. No lights. Just that damn note. That note. That loan. My money. Money I earned on night shifts, weekends, holidays. Driving Uber. Picking up freelance work. Skipping meals. Skipping sleep. $9,000. Gone. Blown on a cruise. I opened the family group chat. Nothing. Not even a Merry Christmas. I scrolled up. Last message from my mom? November. Don't forget to transfer the loan to Dad's account. We need to book before prices go up. Loan. They never called it a gift because they knew it wasn't. I could still hear my mom's voice pitching the idea. "It's just a short-term loan. We'll pay you back by February, tops. You can always move your dental stuff to later." And, like always, I nodded. Just like I nodded when they asked for help with Derek's school fees. When Dad racked up gambling debt. When Tessa needed rent money after quitting her job because her boss was mean. I always nodded. Because if I didn't, I was selfish. Unhelpful. Ungrateful. Because family comes first. Because, after everything we've done for you. Done for me? They kicked me out at 18 for refusing to lie when Derek stole Grandma's pain meds. Skipped my college graduation. Said they were helping Samantha move in with her boyfriend. Forgot my birthday for years straight. But when they needed cash, suddenly, I mattered again. By the next morning, I had answers. They weren't just on a cruise. They were on the majestic Aurora, a luxury liner sailing the Caribbean for 10 days. Private deck. Butlers. Infinity pools. Gourmet meals. For grand ahead. 5 of them. I know because Samantha posted a photo on Instagram, forgot to block me. All 4 in bathrobes, clinking champagne glasses. Caption. Finally some peace, away from all the leeches and negativity. Leeches. I laughed, out loud. They took my money, left Grandma with leftovers, and called me a leech. That's when the last wire in me snapped. And I stopped feeling sad. Wasn't even angry. I was sharp. That evening, Grandma found me in the garage. I was hunched over Dad's old filing cabinet, papers scattered all around, bills, records, whatever I could dig up. She didn't say a word. Just watch while I sifted through years of secrets. I need to know everything, I told her. Where the money went, what they've done. Who else knows? She sat down beside me, pulled out an old, faded notebook, and flipped it open. Let's start with 2017, she said. That's when your mother got into my pension account. By midnight, we had numbers. By the next day, we had a plan. They pulled into the driveway like they owned the world. The same people who left me and Grandma with a scribbled note and a fridge full of rotting coleslaw now came home like returning war heroes. I heard their laughter before the door even opened. Samantha walked in first, dragging a fancy suitcase, her hair done up with ribbons, nails looking freshly painted. Ugh, I am so glad to be back, she said. That last dinner on the cruise broke me out in hives. Right behind her, Mom walked in like she was starring in some over-the-top soap opera, still wearing sunglasses inside. Did you even bother cleaning up? She asked, stepping right over Grandma's shawl like it was trash. Dad came in next, face flushed and puffed up from stuffing himself at the buffet all week. He looked at me and grunted. Oh, you're still here? Derek brought up the rear. Didn't even glance at Grandma. Just dropped his bags by the couch and flopped down like a king coming home from war. I didn't say a word. I was already sitting at the table, hands folded. Calm. Ready. Mom looked around the kitchen like it belonged to her. Where's the food? In the fridge, I said. Still plenty of the ham you left behind. Derek snorted. Still going on about that? He muttered, Dude, just order takeout. It's not like you're poor. I stood up slowly. Glad you're all here. Take a seat. I've got something to show you. Derek rolled his eyes but slouched into a chair. Dad cracked his knuckles. Samantha was too busy hunting for a phone charger to care. I turned the laptop toward them and hit play. First up, a spreadsheet. Not just numbers. This was a full-blown financial audit, Grandma, and I spent 4 days putting together. It showed every dollar drained from her pension, every ATM withdrawal from gas stations Dad liked, every Zelle payment Samantha requested for emergencies that turned out to be Sephora and Apple purchases. Where'd you get this? Mom asked, her voice tight. From her bank, I said. You should really be more careful when you use someone else's login. Next video, screenshots. Venmo transactions. Device logins from Mom's phone. Access records that match Dad's online poker binges. Then the emails. Mom to Samantha, he won't notice the cruise deposit missing. He trusts us too much. Samantha replying, he's soft. Besides, who leaves Grandma alone on Christmas anyway? My jaw locked tight, but I kept going. I could stop here, I said, but I'm not going to. Last file. A voice recording. Tessa, Derek's wife, standing on the porch 3 nights ago, crying. I didn't want to go. I begged him. But Derek said if you didn't give the money, they'd just leave her and deal with it later. I only stayed quiet because he said it would all blow over. I'm sorry. I couldn't take it anymore. Derek jumped to his feet. You recorded my wife? That's illegal. No, I said calmly. She asked me to. Said she was done lying for you. Done watching you bleed everyone dry. Dad stood too. Face beet red. You little snake. You've been snooping through our accounts? Like someone who's tired of being robbed. I shot back. Then I opened one more tab. An email. Ready to go. Subject line. Formal report of elder financial abuse. Evidence attached. The recipients, Social Security's Fraud Division, Grandma's lawyer, the local ombudsman, and 2 news outlets. You've got 24 hours, I said. My voice was steady. Return every cent. Or this goes out. All of it. Samantha's hands were shaking. You're bluffing, she said. You'd really ruin your own family? No, I said. You did that. I'm just sending the invoice. Grandma stood up. She hadn't said a thing until now. But then she stepped to the head of the table, rested her hand on the back of a chair, and said, I raised 3 of you. Fed you. Changed you. Protected you. And when I couldn't walk anymore, you left me with frozen beans and moldy pie while you sipped champagne on stolen money. She paused. You're lucky it's him coming after you. Because if it was just me. She didn't finish the sentence. Didn't have to. The silence said the rest. Dad mumbled something under his breath and stormed out. Samantha burst into tears and reached for Grandma, but she turned away. Derek just glared at me. You're not family anymore. I smiled. No. I'm finally free. They didn't believe I'd go through with it. Even after I dropped that email in front of them. Even after Grandma gave them that look, eyes full of a quiet, ancient fury, they still thought they could wait me out, guilt me, wear me down. But the version of me who used to nod and pay and smile for scraps? He died the day they blew $9,000 of my hard-earned savings on piña coladas and an all-you-can-eat buffet. The next 24 hours? Silence. No calls. No texts. No apologies. Just me and Grandma in that hollow house, eating microwave oatmeal and refreshing the bank app. Nothing. On the second day, I hit send. Every file, every screenshot, every voice clip, labeled, dated, sent to state authorities and every news station within 100 miles. At 7:14 p.m., I got the reply. Thank you for your submission. A case has been opened. By day 2, it blew up. Derek was the first to crack. 14 missed calls, a dozen messages. We didn't mean it that way. You're really gonna wreck your whole family over some money? Then came Mom's go-to line. You're being emotional. Please take the post down. We'll talk. I didn't answer. Just forwarded every message to my lawyer, Rachel. Rachel read through everything with all the warmth of a scalpel. She'd been working with Grandma's attorney ever since the night I hit record on Tessa's confession. By noon, she'd fired off legal letters to Mom, Dad, Derek, and Samantha. No warnings. No fluff. The charges? Elder financial abuse. Unauthorized access to a retirement account. Misuse of a family loan. Total owed, with interest and damages, $15,430. The next night, Mom showed up at the door. She looked wrecked. No makeup. Hair pinned back like she'd done it in the dark. Can we talk? She asked, her voice shaking. I crossed my arms. Only if you brought a checkbook. She reached into her bag and pulled out a white envelope. Inside the envelope was a cashier's check, $9,000. My loan. No interest. I asked. You're lucky you're even getting that, she snapped. This whole mess is destroying us, and it's your fault. You caused this. She glared at me. You're turning your back on your own mother. No, I said, stepping outside and slamming the door shut behind me. I'm finally turning my back on a thief. A few days later, Samantha called from her work phone. She was crying. Said the article had started making the rounds. The headline? Family steals disabled grandmother's pension, abandons her at Christmas, grandson fights back. Over 53,000 shares in one night. Her job, a boutique marketing firm, wasn't thrilled to see her name in every screenshot. That leeches and negativity message? It had turned into a meme. I'm getting fired, she screamed. Do you have any idea what you've done? Yeah, I said. Return the favor. Now pay your share. And she did. In 4 payments. I made her send me proof each time. No skipping steps. Derek was the last to crack. At first, he acted untouchable. Bragged online, my boss doesn't care. It's all fake anyway. Then Tessa left him. Filed for separation. Told him she wouldn't let her kids grow up in a home built on lies and theft. She called me that same day. I'm sorry it took me this long, she whispered. But I finally see who he really is. I asked if she needed help finding a place. She paused, then said, only if there are no strings attached. I smiled. Then yes, because you did the right thing. 3 days later, Derek showed up at my door. Unshaven, exhausted, boiling with rage. You idiot, he growled. You ruined everything. No, I said, handing him a letter from Rachel. You did. She'd just filed a wage garnishment request. He tried to rip the paper and toss it back at me. I didn't budge. Pay. Every penny, I said, or we freeze your accounts. I'm not playing. Ask Samantha. By the end of week 3, it was done. $9,000 from Mom and Dad. $4,200 from Samantha, including interest. $2,230 from Derek, borrowed from his boss. Humiliating. Total returned. $15,430 and change. I used $4,000 to finally get the dental work I'd put off for too long. Another $2,000 went toward getting Grandma a proper lift chair and a part-time home nurse. The rest? Locked up in an interest-bearing account in her name. Only she and I had access. When I showed her the paperwork, she cried. They took everything from me, she whispered. But they didn't take you. That's when I knew. I didn't just win back the money. Or win in court. I'd gotten myself back. That heavy weight I'd carried for years. The guilt, the shame, the sense of being less wanted. It all fell away like an old, ratty coat. And for the first time in a long time, I stood up straighter. The phone stopped ringing after that. And you know what? That silence actually felt good. Not the silence of guilt or shame, but the kind that feels clean. Like the air after surgery. Cold, still, but healing. The money was back. The house was quiet. Grandma finally slept through the night again. No more jerking awake every hour thinking someone was breaking in to rob her of what little she had left. And me? I started becoming someone they couldn't push around anymore. In the weeks after it all came down, I didn't just collect the money. I took my life back. I quit the job that had been draining me dry, picked up a remote contract that paid better and gave me my time back. I took Grandma out to her favorite little diner. Checkerboard floors. Worst coffee in the county. But she laughed more in that 1 hour than I'd seen her laugh in 5 years. I miss this, she said, dipping her fries into a milkshake. You mean your arteries miss this, I teased. She shrugged. I'd rather die laughing with you than choking on cruise shrimp with those snakes. Fair. But peace has its ghosts. They didn't call. But they talked. Oh, they talked. Samantha posted some vague nonsense on Facebook about how some people don't understand forgiveness. Under a picture of her lighting a candle at church, Mom told distant relatives I had manipulated Grandma in her old age. Left out the part where she used Grandma's pension to pay off her plastic surgery bill. And Derek? He went full drama. Made a reel with audio from Succession, talking about toxic siblings like he was some betrayed prince. Caption read, "Some people would rather see you fall than rise with you." I laughed so hard I had to sit down. Rise with you? You tried to burn me alive and dance in the ashes. They wanted to rewrite the story. But I had the receipts. And I wasn't going back into the shadows. Then came the moment everything shifted. For weeks later, I was at the grocery store with Grandma, pushing her cart, filling it up with soup cans and ginger ale, when a woman came up to us. Older. Poised. Familiar somehow. "I'm sorry," she said gently, looking me right in the eye. "Are you the one from the article?" I stiffened. She smiled. "The one who saved his grandmother?" I blinked. Yeah, I guess so." She looked over at Grandma, then back at me. "I just wanted to say thank you. For standing up. For not staying quiet. My mother, they did the same thing to her. But no one ever stood up for her." She touched my arm, just briefly, and walked away. I turned to Grandma. She was frozen, hand on a soup can, eyes welling with tears. "I didn't think anyone saw us," she whispered. "They do now," I said. And that's when I really understood. This wasn't just about the money, or getting even, or proving I wasn't some burden. This was about telling the truth. Out loud. Finally. And the best part? I didn't need to scream anymore. The truth was already out there, dragging their names behind it like a trash bag ripping open down the street. And every time they posted, every time they tried to spin it, people remembered. Every time they lied online, someone in the comments was there to remind them exactly who they were. Mom tried to rebrand herself. Started a YouTube cooking channel, Cozy Kitchen with Janine. But on her very first episode, someone dropped a comment. "Did you buy that oven with Grandma's pension?" The whole channel disappeared within 3 days. Derek tried getting hired somewhere new. Didn't even make it past the background check. Turns out, wage garnishment notices don't look great to HR. Oops. Samantha? She vanished for a bit, then popped back up under a new Instagram handle. At my_live_reboot. Yoga poses. Inspirational quotes. Claimed she was cutting out toxic people. Funny thing is, I didn't cut her out. I exiled her. Months rolled by. I moved into a new apartment. Quiet. Clean. Filled with secondhand furniture I picked out myself. Nothing they picked. Nothing they touched. I brought Grandma with me. One bedroom for her, one for me. She decorated hers with old family photos and a crocheted blanket she'd made back in '94. She called it the fort. One evening, she knocked on my door. Came in slow, sat on the bed, and asked, "When you found that note, the one they left, why didn't you just walk away? Why'd you stay?" I thought about it for a second. Then I said, "Because I remembered who I was, before they made me forget." She looked at me, long and quiet, then gave a little nod. "I'm proud of you, sweetheart." And that broke me harder than any of the awful things they'd ever yelled. Because she meant it. And because no one else in that family ever had. A few weeks later, I bumped into Tessa outside a coffee shop. She looked lighter, happier, stronger. She told me she'd started taking night classes, working toward a certification, trying to build something for herself. "I didn't know I could live like this," she said, "without being scared of what he'd do next." She looked at me. "You gave me that. I didn't know what to say. Then she stepped a little closer. You didn't just change your life, you know? You changed mine. I nodded, quietly. And maybe, for the first time, I actually believed it. So here it is. My ending. You want to know what happened to them? They trashed their own names trying to bury mine. You want to know what happened to me? I stopped waiting for them to call me family and started building a life with the people who never made me beg to be loved. And now? Now I sleep. All the lights off. No fear. Because there's nothing left for them to take. They already took it all. And I took it back. Thanks for sticking around and listening to my story.